Hello, how are you? Talking to you from the living room today. I keep forgetting that with the camcorder I can make vlogs from, well, anywhere in the house rather than being confined to sitting in front of the PC if I was using the webcam. So here we are in the comfort of the living room. Nice and cosy. Today I want to have a bit of a rant. Well, it's not so much a rant, but just air some grievances, shall we say. And it's about music. The intro music may have given you that clue. It's not about the state of music today, about how crappy music has become. I don't think it has actually become crappy, because there is now just so much more music that the proportion of crappy music to the good music is still the same, but obviously just greater because of the actual sheer quantity. I mean, there's been crappy music all through the decades. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny, I think you know what I meany. So it's just that there's more crap, that's all. So I'm not talking about, what are kids listening to today? Although in saying that, I do think of the music from the 80s with fond, careless memories. But now they just all fade to grey. Ah, Vienna. May you rot in hell, Joe Dolce. There's one person watching this for whom I know that wound still cuts deep. Sorry. So no, it's not actually about that. It's actually about music delivery systems. That sounds like I know what I'm talking about. That would be a first. But when I first got into music in the late 70s, I was probably like the punk movement, the Sex Pistols and the Damned, that actually sort of made me aware of modern music. And then once you're into it for a year or two, you find your niche within that genre, as it were. And I kind of sort of got hung up on the new wave movement. My personal favourite's Gary Newman, who's still going as strong today. I mean, he's one of the survivors of the 80s. Duran, God knows what's happened to them. Spandau Ballet of, what's his name? Kemp's on EastEnders now, isn't he? But I mean, Gary Newman's still going strong. I mean, people like Marilyn Manson, Fear Factory, Nine Inch Nails are all citing him as a major influence. In fact, they've all covered his songs. And his new album's still... I'm digressing. For me, in those days, when a new LP, and for those of you, God, I'm showing my age, who don't know what an LP is, I'm referring to one of these things. It's a 12-inch or long-playing record, hence the LP. And when your favourite artist was bringing out a new album, there was this wonderful anticipation, waiting for it to come out. And you would save your pocket money or whatever, and on the day of its release, or the Saturday after it had been released, you would go down and you'd go into the record shop, and granted, if it was a new release, they'd probably be always sitting in a nice little pile, but when you got it home, there was this magic of, you had the sleeve, so you then opened up, you had the inner sleeve, and then you took out the record, and there it was, this work of art, you could see the tracks, you could actually see the beat, the rhythm, the soul of the record. You could actually, although it's not recommended, you could run your fingers over and you can feel that tickly feeling that you got from the grooves. So you could physically see the music, and then you would put this on and you'd put the stylus down, it would locate one of the lead-in tracks, and then wait for the music to start. And again, when side A finished, or side 1 as they were known, you'd have to get up and you'd have to flip it over and play side 2. And I mean, that's kind of like the old, TVs, when you had to get up and change channel or the volume or whatever. You physically had to get up to do the thing. And it's kind of sad that that's gone now, because these obviously were replaced with the CD. Now again, you still have that anticipation of a new album coming out, and you go down again and you buy the thing, and it comes in this lovely little shiny case, and it's got a little booklet inside that maybe has all the lyrics and some information about whoever, and then you've got the disc itself. But the actual disc, the playing surface, this shiny what is that now, 5-inch disc or something, of a piece of aluminium embedded in plastic, which just has basic, dips the laser reads and then codes the music from. You kind of feel removed from it in a certain way. Of course, you've still got the excitement of putting in the tray, pressing the play button, and the album plays. Of course, you've only got the one side unless it's a 2-disc set. But there's still a feeling of ownership, that you've got this little item that you're happy with, you're proud to own, it goes in your collection and it's on display and you can see it. Which brings me to today. Now here's my phone, little phone that I bought. I bought this about a year ago, well earlier this year, in January this year, and it's already about 4 generations out of date. But I actually bought it to replace my existing phone, which was a Philips C12, which I bought back in about the year 2000. I mean, that was an old phone. In fact, it was actually a wood-burning phone. There was a little door you opened and you put some bits of firewood in there and lit it, and there was a wee chimney on the top. That's how old it was. But this is the Motorola Rocker E1. As I say, as soon as I bought it, about 3 weeks later, the E2 came out and superseded it. But I bought it out of necessity. It wasn't a case of the marketing people telling me that I needed it. I decided I needed it. I found myself in situations where I needed the convenience of telecommunications equipment, so I got a phone. I found that I could do with a camera with me at times, although this one only has a VGA camera. It's not even a megapixel camera, but it does. But the main reason I bought this particular phone is it has an MP3 player in it. In fact, the Rocker has, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but that's Apple iTunes software on it. So I can actually just connect it to the computer, obviously, and use the iTunes software that's on there and download or upload the tracks or whatever. It only has a 100 song capacity. It has a 512 megabyte flash card built into it, but not built into it, but in it. And it has a 100 song maximum capacity. But I actually use this for listening to music at work, and I work an 8-hour shift, and 100 songs works out at about 7 to 7.5 hours, so it's perfect for that. Obviously, compared to today's iPods, where you can get about 60 gigabytes in some places, in some instances. I mean, that's enormous. That's probably more than most PCs. But the thing is that today, and the way that the whole industry is going, the music industry, they're doing away with all these things now, aren't they? I mean, you can go to all these sites, be they legal, legitimate, or not, where you can then download an album. As I say, you can the MSN one, I can't remember what it's called now. You pay for an album and you can download it. It's on your computer. You upload it to your iPod or whatever kind of MP3 player you have. But that piece of music doesn't exist. I mean, all it is an arrangement of electrons on a disc that you have absolutely no access to. There's no feeling of ownership. No, the whole magic's been stripped away from buying a new album, because, as I say, they don't actually exist in 3 dimensions at all. And I always think that, well, if you just download all your stuff and keep it on your PC, what happens if you have a problem with your PC? A real major problem. You get a really nasty virus, which is possible in this day and age, and it wipes your hard drive clean. That's it. That's like someone coming in and stealing my entire CD collection, which is obviously it's possible, but unlikely. Or if there was a house fire or something, but you then get insurance, so you get to buy it all back. But I don't think you can actually beat the feeling of actually owning a CD, or, as I prefer, an actual vinyl album. The connection that you have to these things is so much more greater than, well, I mean, I can't even show you the tracks that are on here other than some text on the screen. Lovely. Look at that. And you have to treat these with respect. CDs, I always remember when they first came out, there was a documentary showing this new technology, and the guy was spreading jam on the CD and then he'd give it a wipe and stick it in the player and it would play. Because obviously the playing surface is embedded. Obviously you can't do that with one of these things. These are, you have to treat them with kid gloves. You know, you got these little pads to wipe them clean, and you have to hold them by the edge and make sure you don't get any dust on them, because it, you know, impairs the playback. And all that's gone. It's just, it's been removed. The pleasure seems to be getting stripped from everything. Remember TV programs before video recorders came out? One in particular that always comes to mind in Britain. I don't know if you guys in America or anywhere else in the world will know of the, will have heard of these guys, but Morecambe and Wise were a comedy act, a comedy double act, and they were probably the most popular in the country. And every Christmas they had the Morecambe and Wise Christmas show. That show would stop traffic. People would stop what they were doing to get home in order to see the Morecambe and Wise Christmas show. It was an event, a yearly event. And that was in the days when British television comprised of 3 channels: BBC One, BBC Two and ITV. There was no Channel 4 or Channel 5 or satellite or cable in those days. And because you couldn't record, this was before video recorders, because you couldn't record it, you had to be there to watch it. If you missed it, too bad. But with video recorders came this, not a complacency, but again, it's like the Buggles sang, video killed the radio star. Well, it killed so much more, I think. It took away the magic of TV. When I was a kid, I used to like war films, and if there was a war film on that night, you know, it would be come in, get your bath, have your tea, have your bath, and then settle down to watch the big movie. You know, that doesn't matter now. I mean, you've got all these cable channels and satellite channels where the film's repeated like 3 or 4 times a week. And there's now just so much that nothing has any great value in that respect. And I think that's such a shame that we're stripping this away from, well, everything, from music, television, film. I mean, they're now talking about, you know, simultaneous release on DVD as well as the cinema, or films available to download. So that the social aspect as well is being removed. I mean, to go down to your record shop on the Saturday to buy the record. I mean, you bump into people, you meet people. If we're just doing it sitting in front of our computers, same as with films, watching them on the computer, downloading them, burning them onto CD and then watching them, we never have to leave the house. Which is it's one of the biggest ironies, because here on YouTube I've met so many fantastic people that I wouldn't have met by going out. That just sounds really, really crazy. And at the same time, it's impinging the social skills that we have by preventing us going out and meeting real people. Although the people who are watching this are as real as anybody, you know, I can't reach out and shake your hand. I have to do it in this detached fashion. So I don't know. But anyway, that's my little gripe or grievance for today. Nothing major, nothing really that important, just an observation, shall we say. So there we go. Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving, whatever you did and wherever you were, not just in America but all over the world. And I'll see you again soon, providing my computer doesn't go TU again. So yeah.